Hey, welcome back to Reddit Cheating Wife, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to the channel for cheating stories like this.
My wife may be cheating. I returned home early from a business trip to discover my wife entertaining a friend. She had a supper and wine ready. Now he's imprisoned in his room. My 54-year-old male and wife, 55-year-old female, have been married for 31 years. We reside on the west coast of the United States. My firm relocated our little family of 3 children from the East Coast to the West Coast 20 years ago. I've grown in responsibilities over the years and am now the VP of West Coast Operations. I clung to the coattails of a guy who would become my mentor. I took his place as North America VP when he was promoted. He has decided to retire. He has urged me to throw my hat in the ring to succeed him. If I win the job, I'll have to return to the East Coast, where we grew up. We've made a name for ourselves where we are. We give back to the community via the charity efforts of my company's foundation and our own personal charities. Our children have grown and are now dispersed throughout the nation. None of them live nearby. Our weekends are frequently filled with activities or trips to visit the children's family. I spoke to my wife about it. She has some reservations about my receiving the job. She is unsure if she wants to uproot everything. We'd be relocating closer to our extended relatives as a result of the relocation. One of our children would be around 200 miles away. This is most likely my last promotion in the firm since, given my age and position presently, there is nowhere else to go. We spoke about it and decided to go forward with the interviews since it wouldn't affect anything. My boss/friend is working hard for me. I know several of the board members since they attend the charitable events in which we participate. Because of the time I've spent here, I've gotten to know the higher management fairly well. I must underline one again that my wife is having difficulty with this. I absolutely understand how she feels. So, this week, I went to the interviews. I flew back east to headquarters. The interviews went quite nicely. There are 3 other inside candidates who are also searching outside the organization. They did not attempt to sell the job to me, I had to sell myself to them. So I'm aware that I'm not a sure thing in this situation. Every night, I spoke to my wife. She burst out weeping, saying she didn't want to deprive me of this promotion. We'd chat when I came home. I knew she was upset because of the transfer, but this was out of character for her. The most recent interview took place on Thursday. I planned to remain and return on Friday. On Thursday, I took a trip back to see what was going on. I got in at 9 p.m. And she was on the sofa with Sam, a man I knew from some charitable work. There's an empty wine bottle on the table. I inquire as to what was going on. She said that Sam had been over to discuss an upcoming event. When I'm there, it's not uncommon for me to have a drink with a visitor. I carry my luggage to my bedroom, where the bed is unmade. We always make the bed in the morning, it's a habit of doing something every day that we never break. Sam is leaving as I go back out. We say our goodbyes, and then my wife kisses me and asks why I'm home a day early. I stroll into the kitchen past her, dishes on the table, pots on the burner. She cooks supper. What's going on here? I inquired. Oh, I was cooking, so I invited Sam to supper. When I'm gone, my wife will almost never make a whole supper. Why are you home so early? She inquires once again. She is plainly scared and trembling. I told her I understood she was angry about the probable transfer and I wanted to chat to her about it. I believe you need to tell me what the heck is going on, I said. She bursts out laughing and blubbering something I couldn't understand. She's a little tipsy from the wine, but she's waking up quickly. Why do you say that when nothing is going on? She asks. I'm normally quite cool, but I lost it this time. You seem to be taking advantage of Sam. Is that what you're saying? She told him to stop shouting and walked into the bedroom, locking the door. So now that it's Saturday, she just came out to get something to eat while I was on the phone and then dashed back to her room. I've invited her to come out and speak with me. I made a pledge not to shout. I know she's attempting to deflect, to come up with a decent, explainable justification. Is there anything more I can do? I'm sure I'll need some clothing. I took what I was wearing out of the wash. I'm hoping for a decent explanation, but with her locked up, I doubt it. My supervisor phoned to tell me that there will be another round of interviews the next week. I'm torn between staying for the wedding and continuing the interviews. I've already canceled on a meal tonight because she won't answer the door. I really don't have somebody to bounce ideas off of. My oldest kid and I are great friends, yet I can't bring this up with him. Please assist me in thinking clearly. Story 2. My 31 male, wife, 28 female, of 4 years cheated on me with a coworker and is genuinely sorry. Should I forgive her? My wife and I have been married for 4 years and have been together for 7. We have 2 children and a wonderful marriage, 3 female and 2 male. We were each other's exclusive partner. She ended up going home with a colleague on Friday night last week, lying and claiming it was a business event. She texted me at 7:30 a.m., saying that a work event had unexpectedly come up and she needed to go. I was irritated since we had planned to see a movie at home and she canceled without warning, but I saw no reason to doubt her. She claimed she'd be back by 9:30, which I was okay with. Then she comes back in hysterics at 11:30. She's sobbing and babbling as she confesses to sleeping with a colleague. There was a lot of rage and sobbing on my end, and we spoke about it all night. She claimed that her coworker, a younger man who had been flirting with her for weeks and showering her with compliments, finally broke down her barriers and they had at his place 3 times in 2 hours. She did not tell me about this, reasoning that it would never have led to anything anyway. She said that she thought she had lost out on something by just having one partner. I did, too, but I didn't cheat, and that she wasn't thinking sensibly. She said she became engrossed in the moment, for weeks, it seems, and had no intention of cheating on me. She said that being treated like a hot attractive lady by a young gorgeous gentleman just muddled her brain. I'm not sure what she means by this since we have at least 3 times a week and go on regular date evenings. I requested her to show me her phone, email, and social media right then and there was no indication of him. They never talked to one other outside of work. I suspected she was lying and hiding her tracks, but I confirmed this in the days that followed by contacting my service provider and using a text recovery application, and they never had any communication outside of work. My wife claims it was a one-time blunder that would never happen again. She has chosen to leave her job, has already given her notice, has outed the colleague owing to the no fraternization regulation, and is looking for another employment. She also promised to give me total and unrestricted access to all of her material anytime I wanted it and is almost begging me not to leave her. She's apologized and cried more tears than can be counted. I wanted to avoid her for a time, but my kids needed me, so I told her to give me my space in the home while I thought things over. My wife wants to go to couples counseling and therapy, but she wants to pay for it herself so she doesn't have to rely on me. She accepts full responsibility for the infidelity and tells me that I had nothing to do with it. I never believed I'd be the kind to contemplate forgiving infidelity. I always assumed I'd harden myself and avoid touch without doubt. I'm weighing the benefits and drawbacks of this. 1. She confessed instantly and completely, answering all of my inquiries accurately. 2. She's leaving her job and breaking up with this man. 3. She has given me complete access to her media. 4. She accepts full guilt and accountability for the cheating. 5. She is sincerely sorry. This I know for a fact. 6. She is paying for counseling and treatment with her own money. 7. It seems that adultery may strengthen a marriage. I'm not sure whether this is correct, but I doubt it. I guess the chance exists. 8. I adore my wife and cannot bear the thought of loving another woman or having another lady be the mother of my children. 1. She cheated on me. We had kids, and she truly cheated. 2. She lied to me about this job function nonsense. She purposefully texted me a fake to cover for being smacked by a colleague. 3. She acknowledges that that was mind-blowing and that she really liked it. 4. She never told me about the flirtation, even though it had been going on for weeks. 5. She wasn't inebriated, she had with him deliberately and on purpose. This one stings a lot since she chose to abandon our family for a few hours with the colleague. 6. Rebuilding trust will take a very long time, if at all. I'm not sure whether I want to spend years attempting to fix something that could be essentially flawed. 7. I'm afraid her infidelity has forever ruined any possible closeness with my wife. Just seeing or thinking about her conjures up ideas of her being by the other man, and it's difficult not to think of such things during closeness. 8. I've lost so much respect for her that I'm not sure I have any anymore. Our marriage and children must have meant nothing to her since she picked the guys over them. Also, a few weeks of flirting and compliments was all it needed to encourage her to abandon all concepts of faithfulness and devotion. I assumed my wife had some self-control and dignity, but it seems I was mistaken. What should I do, kids? Should you try to work through it or simply say it and move on? For the latter, I can be a vindictive Chillingsworth-like, so I'd probably appear to forgive her while secretly plotting an advantageous divorce settlement for myself. It's probably all in my head, but I'll be if I don't do my best not to get scammed out of all I've worked so hard for over the previous 10 years. Please let me know if there are any advantages or disadvantages that I overlooked.